Right, all right. Welcome back to the Military Retirement Podcast. We're starting off a little late today, but we're here. We
We're
all
here.
got things going on, right? So John's across the way. I'm here, still in Cali. So we got a whole lot going on, but we always make time to meet each other at some point in time and share good information with the masses. How you doing,
35
John?
spinning plates all at the same time. That's the way my
Oh,
life's been
dude,
this last couple weeks.
you're not lying, man. Oh my
Yeah.
God, my head is spinning. And it all kind of fell within these last 2 weeks, right? It's crazy. We got I understand you're in Atlanta now, is that right?
Yeah, I just made it here to the military retirement conference. And if I could go back and like preface that a little bit of the last few weeks that's been going on. I know people have been hearing us and give a little bit away, but I just want to be fully transparent with everybody. Like I've finally secured my visa for my job. So I'll be starting hopefully within the next 30 days, depending on how long it takes to get back. But in the course of these few weeks that I've been waiting for that to get processed, it's really been a lot of back and forth, confusion, trying to get things going from one side of the country to the other side of the country, back and forth across America, and then culminating the last few days with Hurricane Helena that came up through the Gulf, hit
Mhm.
Florida pretty hard. I think it was a Cat 4 once it hit Florida,
Yeah.
and then it kind of slowed down a little bit, but it just basically hit the coast of Florida and then beeline straight for Augusta where I was at.
Mm.
So I spent a day for sure with the chainsaw, just cutting down trees, moving
Wow.
power lines out of the way, trying to clear a path. I mean, where I'm staying at, we were on a cul-de-sac and there was about 4 or 5 houses back there, and we were literally cut off from humanity because there were trees in the way. We couldn't get out of the house. So had some families back there. I think every single house back there had at least 1 or 2 trees on top of it, a couple poking through the roof.
Hmm.
A ton of rain. We had like probably 15 inches, maybe plus of rain. Winds up to 70, 80 miles an hour. It tore down power lines and trees in every direction. And it basically put the city in cripple mode. Like it literally destroyed the power for the entire city. A lot of people didn't have water. There were some gas leaks. There was one particular, like 2 houses up, they had a gas leak, just destruction and just a lot of chaos. And so I've been spending the last couple of days getting that together, as well as getting my household goods together to get shipped in the middle
Yeah.
of that, as well as just spending a lot of time feeding people, taking care of people, making sure everybody's good the last few days. So it's been nuts. And then getting to Atlanta, and I pull into the city downtown here and they've got a game getting ready to go on. It's like nothing happened here.
Oh,
So
oh
it's like 2 opposite worlds, 2 hours apart. It's crazy
oh
how
man. Dude,
it's
it
crazy.
is. It is crazy, man. And when I started hearing about all this, this hurricane stuff going on, my immediate reaction was call my family in Florida, make sure they're okay, right? And being that they live more central in the central area, all they get really, and I recall growing up, all we get is really high winds and some rains, right?
Yep.
Nothing really affects it. We don't get like water rushing through like the streets or anything like that. However, when I did live in like North Carolina, right outside Camp Lejeune, we bought a house out there, and I recall having to ask about what this extra insurance was because they had flood insurance. So if you're east of the 95, you have to opt in for flood insurance. Well, I guess it's an option, right? Flood
Yep.
insurance, and dude, I was like, it was like half the amount of the full insurance that I was already paying. So if the insurance was like $1,000, it'd be 1,500 with the flood insurance. Because it does rain a lot. You're east of the 95, right? So there's a lot of like lakes, and you're right by Carolina Beach and Wrightsville Beach and all that stuff by Wilmington, near where all the water is. So it's definitely a pain, dude. It was like nothing really happened out there, but we did get some rain. We did some get some heavy winds and rain. So
Yep.
kind of felt it a little bit. And we would go vacation every so often over at the Outer Banks, the OBX, right?
Mhm.
I was just watching videos of it recently. So a lot of these houses are on like stilts, like
Oh yeah.
on yeah, on like the sand or whatever. Their foundation is on stilts, and these like the waves are just smashing into these like stilts and just demolishing these houses, like the foundation. I mean, a lot of these are vacation homes, but I'm like, I know people pay for this stuff, and that
Yep.
sucks to see that what you're paying for may or may not be covered by the insurance, because of all the insurances leaving different states and stuff. But yeah, that is scary, dude. We don't have anything like that here where I live now. It's more
Yeah.
mainly like wildfires and stuff because it's all dry, right? Dry brush and all that stuff. But yeah, I can't imagine, man, like people losing their homes, just water rushing through the streets. That's incredible, man. Yeah, hopefully
Yeah,
everybody out there stays safe.
yeah, they call it the low country out there in the Carolinas for sure, but even
That's
all
right.
up and down the coast is really just low areas, marshes, and things like that. And yeah, I mean
Yeah,
the house where I was staying, like it was well protected. There wasn't a lot of trees up, so we didn't have a lot of tree damage except for the trees laying across driveways and the streets and taking down the
right.
power lines. But even that house is as fortified and built up as it is. At some point, the water saturation level in the ground was so much that the water actually came up through the bottom of the floor
Oh,
and
God.
like seeped into the house because we looked on the walls to see if anything was like leaking down or leaking from like the
Right.
side walls. It was coming literally from the groundwater up through the floor. So it was insane. I haven't seen anything like that ever in this area where I've lived here multiple places around here in Atlanta and Augusta and in Georgia, and I've never seen
Mhm.
anything like that before.
Yeah, yeah, I can only imagine, man. It gets a little crazy. Yeah, so I mean, but you are safe right now, right? You're not
Yeah.
in some kind of shelter or something like that right now. You're coming to us live from safety somewhere like a home or something.
Live from downtown Atlanta, actually. I'm literally sitting right in front of the stadium. They just had the
Okay, okay.
Falcons and the team from the Saints, Falcons and the Saints
Yeah,
just
yeah,
got done
New
playing.
Orleans.
So,
Yep.
yep.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to some games today. Like we just left some little league stuff and then jumping right into watching the game. Um, and I've transitioned from New York Giants fan, which I was always Giants fan growing up, and I have a little soft spot in my heart for the Giants, right? Um, but ever since I've been living here, it's like everybody around me is like a Chargers fan, so I'm like, let me watch the Chargers. So I've been watching the Chargers more often than not recently. So
Yep. Taking on the
yeah,
San
yeah.
Diego Pride.
Yeah, I lived out here a while back when they were still in San Diego over in Qualcomm Stadium. And I never actually went to a game there. We would always like party it up behind Qualcomm Stadium. There's this little place called McGregor's. It was like an Irish pub or something, and we'd always kind of party it up out there, and it was a good time, right? We'd watch the game on the screens and all that. But yeah, I guess I wish I had gone to one of those games, but now they changed it up, tore that thing down. They made what was it, Snapdragon Stadium, which is like half of the size of what Qualcomm was. And yeah, it's completely open up top, so you're basically sizzling in the sun as the games are going on. And I'm like, dude, that they did not think that out. They did not think it through the whole way. But yeah, man. So yeah, but things are okay, a little bit better than on the East Coast on my side. But I have been doing some research, dude, and it just came down, and I really want to get into this. If you want to get into that whole civilian job thing that I was mentioning, so let
Absolutely.
me see if I
And
can
I've
pull it up on the screen
might
here.
have some things to throw in there too because of this process that I just went through, and it's been so long and drawn out, but I finally got to the end of it basically. So
Hell yeah, man!
yeah,
Let's pull it up here. Let me share
happy.
this good old screen here. All right, so this one is from, and can you see that? Okay, there. Let's see.
Um, yeah, add it to the
There we
stage.
go. Oh yeah, add it to the stage. Here we go. Add. All right, so this one is from Task and Purpose, right? It says the bill would automatically give separating troops competency records for civilian jobs. Okay, so I did the research on this. I went to like this. There's these two senators, one from Kansas, one from Nevada, who got together and they established this bill. And the bill still has to go through its processes, right, to get enacted and all that. But um, they have this. What's it called? It's kind of a funky name here. Um, where the heck can I find it? Here we go. The bill is titled Translating Military Skills into Civilian Jobs Act of 2024. Just to give you the bottom line up front on what this is, you basically, when you get out of the military, along with getting your DD 214, they're going to hand you another piece of paper. And the piece of paper is going to say, it's going to give your prospective civilian employers kind of a gist of what you've done in the military. It's similar to how when you get your DD 214, it shows all your awards on there, right? This one's going to show all the courses that you've taken. Let me take this baby off the screen here. I'm like, I'm wondering what's
Ad
going
blocker,
on.
ad blocker.
Yeah. So it's going to show everything that you've done in your time, right? It's going to show your courses, your any kind of schools that you've taken, any kind of education that you've received in the military. It's basically going to spell it out for you for the prospective employers, right? Civilian employers. And it doesn't really spell out exactly how they're going to what the format looks like or anything, but what I envision it is, it's like when you do your like the SOC agreement, the SOCMAR agreement, when you're pulling the education that you've done from your military experience and then applying that to your schooling, your college. They look at everything.
Your military
you've done.
transcript.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Your military transcript. That's what I imagine it's going to look like, right? And I was just showing it online yesterday, or on the video I'm gonna drop tomorrow. I have what we call an "I Love Me" binder, and I'm sure that you may call it something different, but I'm sure all
That's what I
services
call
have
it.
something like this. An "I Love Me" binder, right? I have mine from my enlisted time here, and I assume it's something like this, right? I have all
Mine's
my
exactly like
awards.
that.
Yeah, all my awards and stuff in here, pictures and stuff, all this goodness. And on top of that, I have a transcript of everything I've done. And on top of that, every time I went somewhere new, like a new billet, a new PCS station, I always updated my resume.
Right.
So that was my big takeaway was it's just going to be a transcript of everything you've done, education, throughout your career, professional military education, whatever it might be. It's going to be just a simple transcript. But I spelled it out on the video I made. You can't just rely on the government to do all that stuff for you, right? This is a nice to have.
Yep.
Like, cool, they're helping out veterans who have trouble getting a job because I guess on the Department of Labor website, it showed that there's like a 3.4% veteran unemployment rate, and they're trying to lower that down, right? Because, of course, veterans should not be unemployed, especially after they've served their country. But, I think too many people rely on the government for a lot of this stuff, and they don't take it upon themselves to actually do the work and getting all their records straight and making sure that their resume looks tight. I mean, there's so many things that the government can do for you, but they also have a lot of other things that need to take care of. I, for one, have never been fond of like relying fully on the government and the welfare and all that stuff. I always wanted to get stuff, get off my own feet or on my own feet and do my own thing. And at least that was my takeaway with all this, man. It was just a way for the government to kind of help you out. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you treat it like Chat GPT, right? You put a bunch of stuff into Chat GPT and you want it to spit out a bunch of stuff. You can rely on it to spit out at least a decent kind of starting point, but you have to then go and tailor and edit and go through and make sure everything looks straight. You have to proofread it and all those kind of things. So yeah, that's the way I would treat the government. If you get anything from the government, like make sure you just go back over it and look at it and say, okay, is this what I actually need? This is what I want. Does this look the way I want it to look? Yeah,
it's looking out for number one is what it is. And I mean, there's too many people I think that rely heavily on the government. You got to look out for number one. Should you take the VA disability and all that stuff into account? Yeah, you should, because you've most likely earned that. But I mean, I've seen too many posts on here where people get reevaluated on VA disability and they go from like 80%. Oh, because they said they got better somewhere, they go down to 50% or whatever the case may be. Oh my God, what am I doing? I'm losing this money. I'm so dependent on that. I'm like, okay, well, that's just extra. Like, even when I'm working now, I'm like, I don't look at that as like my actual income. That's just extra for me, right? That's stuff I put away. yeah, it helps out with the house and the bills and all that stuff when I need it to. But should something happen, I'm gonna have a plan B in place. And meaning I have a job and all that stuff. I'm gonna have a plan B in place just in case something happens. If for some reason the government's like, hey, look, it probably won't happen, but hey, look, we are low on funds. We need to pay this versus paying everybody either 80 to 100% disability. We need to
Yep.
reevaluate everybody from top to bottom. And sure enough, there's going to be people who are going to lose their freaking mind because they're going to lose their VA disability. And if you don't have a plan B, dude, you're in a world of hurt. You definitely are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same thing that I've been experiencing over this past few days with this hurricane thing too. It's the same kind of thing. Like if you, like you said, the insurance is one thing, but then simple stuff that you don't really even think about, like
Yep.
electricity going out for the whole entire city. Like there's a
Yeah.
few people around, you could hear generators running here and there, but
Yeah.
it's one of those kind of investments where you spend a few $100 to get a generator and just have it there and ready to go just in case.
That's right.
Because the power generally doesn't go out on its own here in the States.
Yep.
Like it's
Yep.
usually some catastrophe or something that's happening. But
Yeah.
just having that, because look, I mean, the power company is going to come. There's people coming from all different states coming to Georgia and Florida to help fix and rebuild and put power lines back up and fix water pipes and stuff like that. But that's going to take time. And depending on where you live, if you don't live on a main artery in the city, right? Because that's the priority, like fix the interstates, then fix the main highways, and then fix the main arteries to the city, and then start to branch off down into the neighborhoods. Like by the time they
Yeah.
get to you, it's going to be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like you could be without power for a long time. And that's
Yeah.
really the case over there. And it really just dovetails into what you just said about this, taking care of your career, taking care of your own resume, and making sure you're fact checking things and going back and double checking and making sure everything's in line and prepared, and you have enough padding in there so that if you do run into some problems, you can shift one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah. And dude, the amount of people who I've come across recently who are just unprepared for things, it blows my mind, man. Because I've always been the type to, only because I've been burned and I've learned my lesson on this, right? I've been the type to keep meticulous records, man. Not only do I have like paper records, I make a copy of them. I have digital records, not only on my computer, maybe the cloud, things that don't have PII, I'll upload it to the cloud, and then I'll have like my external disk drives or hard drives, only because I've been burned in the past. But I mean, just the amount of people that I talk to, just fielding questions from folks on Facebook, right? Like, hey, how'd you do this? How do you do that? Or send me this something on a resume, or help me out with my resume here and there. I'm like, okay, well, what do you have done already? And I mean, I'm not naming them names, dude, but I'm like, I'm looking at the resumes. I'm like, man, we got to do better here,
Yeah.
because just listing your high school stuff on there when you've been in the military for 17, 18 years is probably not it, dude.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this whole thing
Yeah.
that we're doing with this podcast and these live streams, is just putting out enough information to try to help people get better prepared, even if it's just a little bit better prepared.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the more prepared you can
Absolutely.
be, the better you will be on the outside. And especially if you over plan and you over prepare, right? You'll set up so many boundaries between you and the difficulties that
Mhm.
you probably won't run into any difficulties. You're going to run into some, but
Yeah.
this is just, and there's so much information that we can give you, and so much information that you can take in and write down, and you're not going to get it all, of course, and you're going to miss things here and there, but
Mhm.
really as much as you can take away from any of the stuff that we're putting out, any of the information that's out there on the different sites where we find this stuff, and dig it up. Take it all in, take in what's appropriate for you and what's relevant for you, for sure.
Oh
And
yeah,
just be
man.
prepared for it.
Yeah. So I want to touch on this really quick.
Yep.
Just I got asked a question just maybe about a week back, a couple days ago. What did I do? What was my actual process after I left the military? Right? Like, what did I do? How long did I take before I looked for another job? Um, just like what did I do to wind down? Did I miss it? Did I go through any kind of mental uh, breakdowns or anything like that because I
What
missed
the,
what I was doing after 20 years? I'm like, sure. I mean, I
the long
think if
answer
you
or the
make
short answer?
yeah, exactly, right. So I,
Yeah.
I think if you if you're doing something for 20 years and it's like a part of your daily life and your battle rhythm and you just stop it and then you get introduced to something else, sure you're going to go through some mental stuff, right? It's going to happen. And I'll share this here really quick on the screen. Uh let me see. Here we go. I posted it up on the military retirement group on Facebook. It was just a post, as soon as I retired from the military, from the Marine Corps, I didn't go straight into another job. Instead, I did what I loved for 2 months. Like I know crap. I love drawing. I love painting, and that's what I did for 2 straight months. Man, was I went to the park and I set up a chair and I just drew people and architecture and things. That's what I did for 2 solid months.
Yeah.
I if I could do anything, like, I don't care if they didn't pay me. If I could do anything, I would do that. I would just travel the world and just draw things, right? I don't know how I could make a living off that, but, wishful thinking, right? If I could do anything, that's what I would do. And it took me a while to pinpoint that because I've been doodling and drawing ever since I was a kid.
Yep.
And, that's something that kinda takes my mind off things. It makes me feel, at ease, peaceful, things like that. So, I did things like I went out to the forest. I'd rent out a little cabin somewhere in the forest, and I would just sit there and I'd draw, or I'd sit at the park and just draw. And it blossomed into something else, and then I started doing like what was it, commissions and things like that. And once I got into doing commissions, it wasn't that fun anymore, only because I'm on a timeline now. Like I have to do work for somebody. I'm on a timeline. So I was like, okay, this feels like work now. So I stopped doing commissions, so and I probably did like 20 to 25 commissions just because I wanted to see where it went, and then, people were paying good money for that. And it was fun at first, but then it got a little overwhelming because as I was doing my stuff, I was doing this art, I got a message and another message like, hey, timelines changed, or can I get it sooner, or can I make a change to this, or can you add this person on there? I'm like, no, I'm not doing that, man. It's too much. So, but no, this is what I did for 2 solid months, and I wish I would have done for more months. But yeah, took time off, threw on some music while I was at home. I sat at the park and I sketched. I became an art instructor. It kind of blossomed from there. So one thing that the way I answered that question for this person that messaged me was, hey, take time. You don't have to get straight into a job. For one, make sure that you are completely out of debt or as much as
Right.
you can be when you go leave the military. For two, make sure you have a good nest egg that'll kind of keep you afloat if you need to for like 6 months or so. But after that, just do what you want. Do what you love for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Take a year off. Go be with your kids. Do whatever. Be a stay-at-home mom or dad or whatever you are. You
Yeah.
know, just go hang out. Be a person. Learn how to integrate yourself into civilian life because that was my thing. I was like, how do I know how to be a civilian?
The hardest
I
part.
know. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. And we talk about it like it's an alien thing, right? Like, oh, civilians, there's
I mean,
how
it
to be a
is.
civilian. It is, yeah, yeah. And that's the way I look at it. It was like, okay, this is like an alien thing. I don't really understand this too much. I know how to speak. I have civilian friends, right? But I don't know what it is to work in a civilian job. For one, I can't just throw around my F bombs everywhere,
Right.
or I can't make these stupid jokes like we used to make in, the Marine Corps. Because, things exist like EEOs and stuff like that. Things happen. You can't you have to learn how to walk that line. And it's hard to do after 20 years, man. So yeah, I wish I would have took more time off, and I'm kind of trying to figure out how I can do that after working for about a year now,
Yeah.
in a civilian position. Trying to figure out, instead of just taking paid time off, how I can take more time off. Maybe if that looks like a job switch, then that's what it is. But in between the job switch, yeah, I'm taking some time off for myself and I'm doing something that I really love, like drawing or traveling or something, or photography, right? I love taking my camera and just go traveling and taking photos of people. People look at you like you're crazy, but when you walk up to them and do that, but it's fun. It's so
Just
fun, man.
see all the people who are looking at me right now, looking at me like I'm crazy. But you actually notice it when you step on and off the base. Like if you after you're retired or even close to retirement, and you
Yeah,
spend some time on the base, and you go outside and spend a lot of time out off the base, away from people from the military, and then you step
right.
back into the base for a few days, and you're like, it's like two completely different worlds, right? The mindset, the
It really
mentality,
is. It really
the kind
is.
of like customs and traditions that you use, the way people talk
Yeah,
to each other and interact with each other.
right.
Um, it's just completely two different worlds, and it's literally just separated by a gate and a gate guard or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, like the customs and the courtesies, right? Like, and I I was always one to correct people if there was something that was if there was something that they were doing that they were not supposed to be doing, right? You walk around a Marine base, there's no trash on the floor.
Right.
People say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, sir, things like that. You walk out off base and that stuff gets that it's
Just walk by
non-existent.
you.
Yeah, it's
A lot
non-existent,
of
man. I
times, it
mean, there,
depends where you're at, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. People and I've always had the idea of and I've always taught my kids too. Like, hey, look, you be courteous to people. It doesn't matter if it is your boss. It doesn't matter if it's the freaking janitor at work. Taking out your trash. You be courteous to people. You say hi. You say good morning. You say thank you, right? Because it's just being a good human is what it is. And I notice it at work too. And I won't get in too much about work, but um, there's a janitor there that comes every day, and I asked him his name at one point, so I always call him, by his name.
Mhm.
And yeah, people don't bother to even notice the man. Like they just walk up and they leave their trash cans there for the guy to dump out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, that kind of sucks. I mean, he's a human being as well. You
Right.
know, I learned the dude's name. I At one point, I just made coffee in the office kitchen. I'm like, "Hey, dude, you want some coffee or anything? We got extra mugs up here." He's like, "Oh no, sir, thank you very much. Whatever." But I was like, "Hey, maybe the dude wants coffee. I don't know, right?" But nobody fucking gives no, excuse me, nobody gives this guy the time of day, and it's already coming out, right? Nobody gives this guy the time
Yeah.
of day, and that pisses me off. And I'm like, "Hey, thanks," and I'll call the guy by his name purposely so people around me can hear. Like that's the dude has a name. Acknowledge the man, but nobody does.
Yeah, it's
Kind of
certainly
pissed me
something you
off.
can carry with you out into the civilian world when you leave the military. Is like those
Yeah.
customs and courtesies, that kind of traditional, like being very polite and trying to be aware of like other people around you, regardless if they're higher or lower rank or whatever, but you're aware of that, right? Just take that and
Right.
translate it into the civilian side and just kind of treat everybody like they're a colonel or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that way you pretty much do everything right and just treat people with respect. I think the word that I'd like to use is don't be pretentious. Like don't act like you're on some
Mhm.
kind of pedestal above
Yeah.
everybody else, because you're not. We're all humans. And things like this hurricane that just happened, like it really drills that kind of home. And it's like everybody's on the same playing field. Everybody's got the same exact
Oh,
issues.
yeah.
We just deal with it at different levels and different times. But when something like that happens, right, you can really kind of just see what happens and see the actual reality of what's going on. People become a lot nicer. People are
Mhm.
willing to help. People are just generally more caring in situations like that. And if you could take that and just continue that on throughout the rest of your life,
Yeah.
you're making the world a better place, and you're making your own life a better place. And that makes that transition just that much easier.
Yeah, yeah, and to the old lady that I opened the door for the other day, who looked at me and just walked in
Yeah.
without saying thank you, you're welcome. If you I don't know if you
So
watch the military retirement podcast, but you're welcome, right? That actually happened, dude, and it happens a lot, and I'm like, "What the
yeah.
hell's going on here? Did people lose their mind?" You don't like and there's another part of that I heard. I recently read it somewhere, I can't recall where. I wish I would have written it down somewhere. If you are too nice, people start to walk all over you.
Uh, mm, I mean, it depends on what you define as walking all over you. Like if
Or
you
like
want
disregarding
something in
you.
return for being nice, then yeah,
Yeah.
you're probably going to feel like being walked all over. But if you're not looking
Yeah.
for anything in return for your niceness,
Yeah.
that you get nothing but good out of it. You feel
Yeah.
good,
Yeah. No.
you're
And
doing
I
good, you're
get that.
taking care of people.
I get that. But doing like the courtesy thing, like, hey, I'm gonna
Yeah,
open the door for you.
yeah,
And it's like because people usually say thank you.
right.
But I'm like, when you don't say thank you, I'm like, hey, well, I will also give them a you're welcome, even though they don't say anything.
Right.
So
And then they keep
just to
walking.
be, yeah, just because that's the type of person I can be an asshole sometimes. Oh man,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
So yeah, I wish I could be out there with you, man. I really do. Life has kind of shifted things a little bit for me a little bit. So now I have this Naval Academy thing going on with my kid, and then we're doing a college tour coming up. So um, yeah, a lot of things have been thrown on my plate since we started making plans for this military influencers conference. So, but from what see on the lineup and the speakers, it looks like it's going to be a solid event, man. I mean, John
Yeah, I'm gonna
Stewart's going to be out there, and a
yeah,
couple other
lots of
folks.
people. Lots of
Yeah.
people. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get stream as much as I can or record as much as I can. But tomorrow morning, so first thing in the morning is 09.
Mhm.
Before they start doing the processing in, I see a bunch of military people going down the thing right now, the escalator. Before they start processing in for the conference at between 9 and I think 1 or something like that, they're going to
Yeah.
have the PAC Act VA folks on the ground
Mm.
here. So I'm going to be here first thing in the morning tomorrow morning with my big stack of medical records and see what I can do with the PAC Act folks and see how that process goes and try to capture as much of that stuff as I can. I want to try to walk around and capture as much stuff as I can and just really do my part to report on what's going on in this conference because I feel like it's really important since we started talking about it when you brought it up to me and we started talking about it. Like not only is it important for the folks that are here, like getting
Mhm.
together and being surrounded by like-minded people and people who are actually doing things like we're doing, but also just getting into that community, right? So it's finding that new tribe, and that's what we're always kind of talking about as well. And this is, for me, this is my new tribe. This is my new tribe of people, at least for the podcasting, YouTube, the military retirement thing that we're doing. This is kind of the tribe that I need to be around, and I need to be around these folks so that I can lean on them, so that I can ask them questions, so that I can maybe answer questions if they have questions, and just share that community uh, together with them, and also maybe expand and be able to collaborate with some of these folks. Like we had JP on a few weeks ago. He'll be here.
Mhm.
I hope I get to see him. If you're out there, JP, what's up? But I'd like to meet a lot of these folks and just get in contact with them and see if I can help or if we can help together
Yeah.
to just expand this and get this information just more and more out to the public and help more people along their way, because that's generally what we're all trying to do collectively, is just help other veterans, other military service members along their path in whatever way we do it, whether it's through sports and fitness, whether it's through finance, whether it's answering questions about military retirement, whether
Mhm.
it's teaching people how to cook. The big Marine chef guy, I forget his name.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So all those folks together are just collectively trying to help better the lives of military members and veterans, and
Yeah.
we just want to be a part of that. And it's really a great mission to be a part of.
Oh yeah, man. And part of the mission is that book we wrote, the bottom line up front, what you need to know before you leave the military.
Yep.
And that's going to be dropping here. It's currently for pre-order, and it's probably the lowest price book on Amazon. It's like the cost of I literally got a Starbucks this morning. It's probably the cost of half of a Starbucks, or like less than the
1/6 of the
smallest one.
Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly. A fraction of a Starbucks, right? But it's here, let me pull it up here, man. I'm excited for that. I'm telling people all about it, where I'm spreading the news on it. Like, hey, the time's coming up, man. If you're gonna be getting out of the military, you may want to start looking at this because it's gonna it's going to be a good piece of gear for a lot of folks out there. And we've already received good feedback on it from a reader. You know, he reached out to me. We didn't ask for feedback really. We were like, hey, look, take a look at this book, and if it helps you out, you know, let us know. You know, let us know what you think. That's probably the extent of the feedback we asked about. And this, we had one who's, I'm still waiting to hear back from, because I'm kind of curious about what this gentleman has to say. But he mentioned fantastic book. He's already read it, and he's a Army retiree, or soon to be retiree. He's already read it, and he had a couple things for a possible version 2 that we have coming up. So, but for version 1, I think 10 solid chapters on what you need to know before you leave the military is already embedded behind this cover. $2.99. You can pre-order it right now, and it's going to be released on October 4th here in a few days. So super excited about that, man.
Last day of the conference, it'll be released. Yeah, and I actually ran it by the VRNE, my VRNE specialist, who, by the way, we've got everything settled, signed, put in place. The retroactive inductions is pushed through, so they're going to give me all my GI post 9/11 GI Bill benefits back as well. But which is such a great program. But yeah, he read through it. I gave him a copy of the book. He read through it, and he said everything is spot on. He said, especially, he's like, I really like how you guys condensed everything down for the educational benefits and the employment benefits down into that one pager. He's like, that is genius. That is the best thing you guys could have done. And it's really on point. It's accurate. He's like, I have no feedback really to give you. Like, you guys hit all the major points, and you've got everything in there spelled out, and you've got it really well composed and put together in a manner that people can just understand, look at it and understand it. So.
Oh yeah. That's great feedback. And I think I just actually pre-ordered our own book. I clicked on it.
Thanks for your pre-order.
Yeah. Hey, you're welcome, me. You know, so
and if you got Kindle Unlimited, you can actually get it. You can get it for free as well. If you've got Kindle Unlimited, you just click on it and get it, and you can get the free version of it. The audio version is still forthcoming. Still got some editing to do on that, but really I've just been bouncing around all over the country trying to get things done. So either get things done or get the audiobook done, and things take precedence sometimes in this case.
The audiobook will be released when it gets released, man. No rush. You know, you got life takes precedence, and you have to, you know, just kind of put priorities in order. No worries. Right. You know, the audiobook will come when it comes. I'm sure we don't have everybody who's, you know, clawing at trying to get the audiobook. I need to know, but hey, but you know what? We have, if you got eyes, I trust that if you've been in the military for 20 years that you can read. So $2.99 will get you a book, and you can read that. 10 short chapters. It's nothing crazy, just good, solid advice from things that we've seen, from people we've interviewed, from things that we've, you know, researched on leaving the military, man. It's just good, solid advice. Easy as that.
Glad to get it out there. I wish I could get some actual paper copies of it and hand it out, but again, just been super busy with things, but that's all good. I'll be letting everybody here know about it. And like I said, if you got Kindle Unlimited, you get it for free. The audiobook will be coming out. If you were on the early bird email list, you've got a copy of it already. And if you do have some comments or some suggestions, or even you just want to drop a note about it and say whether it was good, whether it was bad, if it helped you out or anything, if you go on Amazon and you just drop like a little short review in there, that would really, we'd love to hear. We'd love to see what your feedback is on any of the stuff that we're doing.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I'm all for it. You know, as soon as I've read it, I'll drop a feedback on there.
Many times, right?
Yeah. Oh,
at this point.
Right. Yeah. We read that thing at least 30 times, at least, just making little changes here and there, wording and this and that. But yeah, I mean, it's good, solid advice, man. Good piece of gear. And when we do get the actual paper copies, man, I'm just gonna slide those things in like the library shelves, and you know,
all those little leave one, take one book stands all around the city. Just
go to Barnes and Noble and just like slide it on the shelf. Like, oh, what's this? It doesn't have a price. It's just gonna say free. Just take it. Free.
$3.99.
$3.99. because they'll scan it and nothing's going to come up. So they're like,
Right.
hey, look, what happens then? Do they just toss it? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, they'll scan it and it should have a barcode on it. It should have an ISBN number attached to it. So something might come up. You never know.
Something might come up, and it's not
Get a
under their
$14.99 sale on there.
yeah, who knows? Who knows? But that's we'll have fun with that. We'll have fun with
Yeah.
that. I have this vision in my head where I go to meet somebody who's getting out of the military, and then similar to like how you give somebody a challenge coin. Hey, look, here's my challenge coin. Here is my book for you. Do great things when you get out. Something like that. Something like that. Yeah. So I mean, we're another thing too is we're growing this military retirement group now.
Mhm.
I mean, it seems like every week we're just putting out like new congratulations to new members and all that. Let me
Yep.
see if I can share it up on here.
Yep.
But yeah,
And
it
the
seems like
and the YouTube subscribers, for all of you out there, thank you. I see it ticking up every single day, and it just
oh yeah,
it
yeah.
makes it's the reinforcement that I need and we need to know that we're doing the right thing and we're moving in the right direction. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple ways that you can find us on here. There's we have the military retirement group on Facebook, and all the links are above, on the top right hand corner of the screen. Military retirement group on Facebook. It's constantly growing. I think we're right under 2,200 members. Good conversations in there. A lot of good people with good feedback. We have a mix of retirees. You got a mix of people who are going to retire. There was just one. I was just sharing that whole story about taking 2 months to go draw in California, and somebody had mentioned like, oh, this is great. I needed this because they're retiring in 2026, and they just didn't know what to do. Like, because you feel the urge sometimes to like jump into another job. Like I need a continuation. You feel that urge, but it's like, do you really need that? Like if you planned right, and you're at least 2 years out. If you've planned right, you can make things happen. You don't have to jump in there. And if for some reason you want to expand your education, you can jump on and get like full BAH, full E5 BAH, get paid for that, and still continue receiving your retirement, VA disability, whatever. Hopefully that could supplement your lifestyle a little bit. Hopefully.
yeah, if you can jump on the VRNE thing, for sure. Like that's literally the way to go. We say it in the book, and we've said it personally. Like if you're going to get out and you're going to think about continuing school stuff, and you want to kind of set yourself up for the next job or career that you're trying to get towards, like the VRNE thing will set you up, get you to school, put you in that direction, and get you taken care of, and then you still got all your chapter 31 benefits, right? Chapter 33. I forget at this point. It's my brain is scattered.
There's too many chapters, man.
Loud noises in my head.
Too many chapters.
The post 9/11, you get to keep that as well. So you can literally do a degree in the VRNE program if that's what it takes to get to your vocational outcomes that you're looking at, and then turn around, and if you want to go and get a second master's or another or a master's or whatever you want to do, you could drop that in there post 9/11 and just take care of everything. And plus, you're getting paid and you get to go to school. Like, who doesn't want that?
You can't beat that with a stick, man.
Nope, not at all. I think my friend is going to be a full-time career student from now on, because that's literally what he's doing. He's just switched everything over to VRNE as well, and he's doing his master's program. He's like, I'm going to do another master's and then maybe another one after that, because they're only like 30 semesters per degree or something.
Yeah. And I mean, I was just talking to my buddy, the Army retiree Winchway, who just retired. We had him on the podcast not so long ago on the live stream. He's also going to be looking into that. Right now he works, for, I think he's a DoD contractor. I'm not sure exactly what he does, but he's going to be in and out. He's going to be doing just full-time school for as long as he can, So that's like what, if you get the VRNE and you get the chapter, I can't recall what it was.
Post 9/11.
Yeah, the post 9/11. Yeah, if you get both of those, man, that's 8 years of school right there. 8 years, dude. And I don't know about a lot of people out there. I don't know about their financial situations or anything like that. But personally, me, I don't want to have to work past 50, maybe 55, right? I just hit my 40s. Dude. I want to have a solid 10 years of just grinding and then maybe not have to work after that, unless I wanted to, right? Because I know like I always want to do something, but I don't want to have to like chase a paycheck if I don't need to.
Yeah.
You
Don't
know?
want to have to interview for the next job.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So with that, I recently dropped a video. I don't know if you've seen it, John, but I recently dropped the video on the green logbook here. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Probably seen it. I get all the notifications. So.
Yeah, it's gotten some feedback, and it's, let me see if I can put it up on here. Yeah, easily save 400K before military retirement. Here's how. I say easily, and here, let me put it back there. I say easily, and it was easy after I established that, but you have to have some good financial discipline, man. You really do. And it only works if you're dual income. And this is how I'm going to make sure that I don't have to work past 50, in the next 10 years, because, I have a goal in my head. If I can live off of the interest of that goal, while it's in the bank or while it's being invested, then I'm good. I feel like I could live off of like 50, 60 grand if I needed to a year, you know, but on top of VA disability and retirement pay. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, with this, man, just to kind of give you a quick rundown, and anybody out there watching, dual income and living off of one income only. So we lived off my wife's income, and for about 5 years before I retired, when I hit my 15-year mark, I just started putting everything I made into savings and money market accounts and to max out my TSP. And that thing just grew. It really grew. And especially with the TSP, man, because it was like up and down, up and down. And then just once it takes off, dude, and it's like you pull it up and it's like 15% return on there, 20% return. It's like, holy it's going up.
Yep.
But yeah, in 5 years, man, you hit that mark, and then that was just what 10 months ago,
right.
And then it's just going to keep going up from there. But really, I was telling, what's up?
When you were putting all that stuff together, and now that you've done it for 5 years, you were putting stuff in these different piles of cash, these different buckets of cash. Out of all of those over the last 5 years that you've been doing it, which one for you felt like it was the most worthwhile above the other ones? Did one stand out above all the other ones? Was it the TSP, or was it like a regular, like a money market or a CD? Or
so the TSP is the one that stood out the most, because you're and when you're in a money market account, say like with Navy Federal, it's only coming back with like 4 or 5%. The TSP was literally, it was coming back at one point with like 20%, so it was like insane amounts. And if you're maxing out the TSP, and again, this is not financial advice. I just want to make it clear for anybody out there listening, not financial advice. It's just what worked for me. But if you got to step out of the G fund, like I had no real, my leadership did not really look out for me in terms of finances. And I didn't really ask a lot of questions because I was just, in my young career, starting out. I heard about the TSP, didn't know much about it, stayed in the G fund for way too long. And holy crap, man, it's like once I found out, we had like a financial management class. It was like a mandatory thing for like E4s and below at one point. And then I started thinking about it years later. I was like, what about this G fund thing? So I stepped out of G fund, and I had like a good amount of money in there when I was a young Marine, right? It was maybe like, 20 grand or something like that. Hey, let me move this into whatever, the CMES fund, see how that does. And dude, when I did that, it freaking blew up, man. And then just start maxing that thing out. It was incredible. And I'm surprised that more people don't know about that or don't bother to learn about that stuff. But it could really help you out, especially in the later years, because who really wants to work when they're in their 60s or 70s? And, those are the golden years, right? You want to enjoy life. Who really wants to work at that point in time? Unless you really do want to, right? But at that point, you can choose what you want to do. Maybe I want to be a Walmart greeter. Not that there's anything wrong with that. In fact, I would enjoy sitting down and saying hi to people all day.
Best job
I
ever.
would, yeah, I would not mind that. Or just walking around Home Depot or Lowe's. There was I don't know if you've ever heard of the story. There was a retired, I want to say he was like a general or an admiral or something. He was just he was working at Lowe's or Home Depot. And again, this is just a story I heard through the years, that this guy would just walk around and with a coffee mug, and just talk to people.
Yeah.
Like, hey, yeah, do you know where I can find this? Oh yeah, sipping his mug. It's right over there. And they asked him, like, hey, look, one of his coworkers, hey, what did you do before you worked at Home Depot? He's like, oh, I was like a 1-star general in like the Marine Corps. And he's like, they're like, what the hell?
Why are you here? Because it's easy.
Yeah,
I could drink my coffee in peace.
yeah, I can drink my coffee and I can just talk to people, like
Yeah.
just hear the stories, converse. You know what, man? I might just do that. I might just get a job at Home Depot and just talk to people. I think I just sold myself on that.
There's nothing wrong with it, man. They give you a really nice apron. If you're lucky, you get they have those little classes for the kids on the weekends or whatever, where they
Yeah,
teach
yeah,
them
yeah.
woodworking and stuff like that. So if
Yeah.
you're lucky, you might be able to become an instructor on how to build like a birdhouse on the weekends.
Yeah,
It's
gather
a
around,
great
kids. Let me
place.
show you how to build a 50 cal tripod really
Right.
quick. Yeah. Let me show you how
Out
to
of these
calibrate
3
this thing real
sticks and
quick.
this 1 nail.
Hold it over your head,
That's right.
throw it in the dirt. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, but that's I have a buddy of mine who does that now. He's a retired Chief Warrant Officer 4. He did 29 years.
Okay.
29, I think 29 years. And I asked him, I was like, hey, what are you going to do now? He's like, dude, I don't know. I don't ever have to work again. His house, he had a house in Texas. It was paid off for years.
Mhm.
He went back over there, and he's like, he's working at Home Depot. He's just hanging out, just like working the register, walking around, just talking to people.
Chilling.
Yeah, exactly. Chilling, man. I'm like, oh, that's what it's about, man. Go work at Home Depot, go do a little, education, in class education here and there, get your E5BAH, hanging out, man. That's generational wealth. That's how you build that. Exactly, dude. That's how you do it. I may not know a lot of things, but I know a few things, and that's how to keep things tight. And I keep Excel spreadsheets upon spreadsheets upon spreadsheets.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. So what else is going on out there, man?
Just crazy. I hear the crowd screaming every once in a while. It sounds like there's been a couple touchdowns over there at the stadium across the way. But yeah, like I said, Atlanta's pretty chill, chill as it can be. I drove into the city this morning trying to get here as early as possible because I wasn't sure if the roads were clear all the way through and if there's gas along the way, because a lot of the gas stations you go to and there's a line of cars literally like 2 miles down the road plus
Why?
another line.
Oh, because of the hurricane. Okay. Never
Because of
mind.
the electricity.
Yeah.
So the ATMs are shut down, right? Because of electricity. Most of the stores were shut down. Most of the gas stations were shut down. And people were trying to get gas. The people who could actually get out were trying to get gas so that they can go and stand in another line at the grocery store and wait literally like hundreds of people deep. So it was the cars lined up for a mile or two at every single gas station. And then right beside the cars was a line of like 200, 300 people with gas cans trying to get gas. Also for their generators, right? If they had a generator, they need gas to run the generator in some cases. So just pandemonium, just literally pandemonium. So I wanted to get out early, see if I could get here early, scope out the area, scope out the location where they're doing the conference here, and really just kind of get my foot on the ground and get settled. And I didn't realize that there was a game going on today. And I pulled into the city and got here close to downtown, and like the whole city downtown is like one big barbecue pit. Like it's everybody's barbecuing. Everybody's barbecuing. All the music's blasting. People walking around everywhere with Falcons jerseys on. And
hey, man, hurricanes don't stop that, man. You got to cook. You got to cook. You got to eat.
Can't stop the dirty birds.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the comment, James Maxwell. Hello from Florida. Bad hurricanes are baked into the state for us down here.
Yeah,
hey,
man.
Dude, James, I know too much about that, man. Trust me. I grew up in Central Florida. I know about boarding up windows and hurricanes and palm trees. Those palm trees are strong, man. They sway every which way, but they don't break, man. A lot of them don't. But yeah,
pine trees do.
Yeah, they do.
Pine trees snap right in half.
Yeah. And they love roofs, so be careful with those.
Yeah, we had the guy that had the gas leak actually a couple houses over. He had just like literally in February just moved from Louisiana up to Augusta just so he could get away from the hurricanes and the tropical storms. And then, you know, first time ever that a tropical storm actually like passes through Augusta and destroys some stuff. It's insane. Yeah, I really, my heart goes out to every single one of the people in the, you know, the lower southeast states, even all the way reaching up to, you know, where my folks stay back in St. Louis. Like that storm literally covered the whole southeast. So if you're out there, hopefully you've got power. Hopefully you've got food and water. Hopefully you've got running water and electricity. And if you've got a generator or something like that to kind of keep you limping along for a few days, great. If you can get a hold of one, great. If you're living next to somebody and they don't have any of that stuff, like invite them over to your house, bring them in, let them stay, feed them, like do what you can, help them cut down trees, help them move debris, help them get the thing off of the top of the car. It's maybe smashed in the car or whatever. Like, just really just reach out and try to give a helping hand where you can. If you have the means and you want to come from out of state, there's a bunch of people that I know that have been coming from DC and from, you know, there's people from Jersey coming down all the way down to Georgia and Florida specifically to help out and just get people back on their feet. So it's really a really great effort. It's great to see it. It's great to see communities coming together, and it's tragic that it has to happen because of something bad, but on the back end of that, you get to see all the good in people, and it just restores that hope in humanity and that hope in just everybody around you.
Oh, it definitely does, man. It's great to see people come together for a common cause. It really, I mean, it's unfortunate, right, for something like this, but you know that this is the time that people need each other. It definitely is. Yeah, and there we go, James again. He's James, you're ready, man. You're ready. You got the generator. You know, what else you got going on over there? Holy
those generators will keep you. They'll keep you going, especially that generator. Those things will be going for at least a few days, if not weeks, as long as you can get to the gas and get gas stations. And that's just where it kind of breaks down, right? It's like one single resource, electricity, can shut down everything else. So
like in my garage, I have these 5-gallon jugs of water, and I have them because the house we were renting before we actually bought this place, it didn't have one of those refrigerators with a little dispenser. So I got like one of these big water dispenser things with the 5-gallon jugs on top. And that was our thing. I have it in the garage now. My wife recently told me, she's like, hey, why don't you get rid of that thing? We don't even use it, right? I'm like, no. I've got 5-gallon jugs. They're sitting up on the shelf. I have this steel shelf on the corner of my garage. I have all my camping stuff up there. I've got zombie apocalypse stuff up there. You know, I got my bug out bag. I got, you know, whatever. I got ninja stars, throwing knives, whatever the hell it is. And I've got my 5-gallon jugs. I'm like, I'm keeping these things ready. And we're going to rotate these things, right? Well, I got them marked off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to rotate these things so the water doesn't get bad or anything like that. But it's just good to have something like that, you know, in the back. I've got, you know, gas jugs. You know, they're not always full, but if something happens, you know, I'll go fill up the cars, and I'll fill up the gas jugs as well, just in case. Usually I just use them for like the lawnmower, but we got rid of those lawnmowers and I still got the jugs, so I got to make use of those things. But it's good to prepare yourself for things, right? And not, because I've seen it too. Like you go to the store, there's lines out the door. All the waters are gone. You know, like what do you do then? You know, what do you do? So you fill up your bathtub. I'm not drinking no damn bathtub water, man. If it comes down to it, it will, but I'd rather not.
Yeah, James. Yeah, liquid propane. Yeah, there's not to go down the generator rabbit hole, but there's generators that can run off of multi-fuel, so they can use gas, they can use liquid propane, and I think natural gas as well. I think that's the three. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it's really just being prepared, and that's what what we literally talk about every single week in general when it comes to transition, military retirement, getting out of the military after a few years or after 20 years, just being prepared. You don't have to be a super psycho prepper and a weird beard about it, but as long as you've got enough stuff to to take care of you in an emergency or in need. Same with the transition to civilian life. Same with any transition, really. Just being a little bit prepared. It doesn't take a lot. You don't have to be crazy. Yeah, you just have to be prepared. So
Yeah.
mentally prepared, emotionally prepared, physically prepared, and then of course like supplies to get you through a few days. It's You'd be surprised how big of a help it is when you need it.
Yeah, especially if you got a family or something like that. You got to
Yep.
account for all these folks. Because how long can you live off of a gallon of water? I mean, that's recommended for one person per day, right?
Yep.
So you need these 5 gallons of water. You need food for everybody, probably canned food, stuff like that. So yeah, preparedness, it's a thing.
It is a thing. And out of all of the preparedness, I got introduced to my very first Feastable bar. I haven't tried it yet. It's sitting in my little cooler bag, but I'll
You
be
said your
trying
very first what now?
my very first Feastable bar from Mr. Beast. So
Oh, I was like Feastables. Like
Yeah.
I thought that. So there's cat food named Feastables, and I thought
there?
I was like, damn, John. I mean, I can send
Nah,
you some
not cat food.
MREs or something.
No, not cat food. Not cat. Hey, MREs are expensive too. They're like $30-$40.
Yeah, for the
Can
whole.
you believe that? I
Yeah,
saw one
they
the other
are.
day. I was like, it's insane.
You said MREs, so MREs you can get them here. So I live next by the Marine base. My kids love MREs for whatever reason, right? They I usually buy it for them on like on a Friday, because we usually eat out on a Friday or whatever.
Mhm.
And like, Dad, can you get us an MRE? Can you get me like baby mac or the mac and cheese or they don't have baby fingers anymore. Remember baby fingers, they're like little sausages.
No.
They don't have those anymore, but they the kids love that stuff. So yeah, I just buy them. They're like $10 each, maybe 10
Okay.
bucks each for an MRE. But if they have ones that are already like field stripped in like a Ziploc bag, and those are like $6, so
Yeah.
those aren't bad.
Yeah, the ones I saw were on the Air Force Base a couple weeks ago, and they were legit like MREs and the big kind of tan, like can't rip through it bag without a knife.
You're right.
So yeah.
Yeah, and just to heat it up, you look at the directions. My kids looking at the directions.
Just takes
the
water.
Green bag. Yeah, just water, and it says lean it on a rock or something.
And
like,
if you close it up too much, it's going to explode.
Oh
Just
yeah,
take my word for it.
Yeah, I've seen some people do some crazy stuff with those little green baggies. No, but those are always something good to have, right? And a while back when I was at the Marine base here, I had PCS'd here, and we had a storage closet in the back, and we had just boxes. It was like 5 boxes of just MREs, but I couldn't find a date on them. I'm like, how long have these things been here? I mean, they're good for what? I don't know, 10 years, 15 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, the boxes were not in good condition, man. So I'm like, I don't know if I would eat this shit. Just maybe we should.
If there were sea rats, I would eat them, but if they're not sea rats,
yeah, exactly, right. But yeah, we got rid of those real quick.
Sea rats anymore?
No, I don't know. But yeah, we got rid of that stuff real quick. But yeah, I buy them from the Marine store or the commissary here all the time. Yeah, they're good, but they too much of that stuff will back you up, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like 7,000 calories per MRE or something crazy like that. Can you imagine eating 3 of those in a day?
It's so terrible, dude. It's like it's not made for everyday consumption, man. Oh,
made
so
for
bad.
America.
Yeah, exactly right. For America.
We like to do everything big and extra big. So that's certainly America right there in a nutshell. It's an MRE.
Oh shoot. No, but awesome. Yeah, it's whole lot, man. You got to stay safe out there, man. Hopefully everything goes well out there, and for James out there too, who's in Florida. Like I mentioned, I recently got a hold of my family out there just to make sure they're safe. And the second I call my mom, I'm like, "Hey, Mom, how's everything going?" She switches the freaking camera over to her dog to show me how well her dog's doing. I was like, "Hey, I don't give a shit about the dog. How are you?
How are you doing?"
Like, "Oh, we're okay."
James, if you've got a YouTube channel, man, or it sounds like you're well versed on this stuff. If you got a YouTube channel and you want to drop it in the comments, man, we'll throw it up on the screen. Or if you got a YouTube channel that's your favorite YouTube channel for learning about this kind of stuff, feel free to drop it in the comments. We'll pop it up on the screen and let people know
Yeah.
about it.
James,
Sound
if you
like
know
you-
a little bit about something, you should probably start a YouTube channel yourself
Right.
and
Especially if you're
educate
over 40.
people like me. Yeah. Yeah. I need to be educated on this stuff. I mean, shit, I live in San Diego here, and the worst thing is there's like a mountain like 2 streets down, and I mean, it could catch fire. I don't know, but I mean, it's too far away from me to even affect my house right now.
That's right. That's right.
But it gets hot out here. That's probably the worst part of it. But yeah, James. Yeah, I'm all for watching some videos if you got something, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for your comments too. That's a lot of helpful information. It's good information relevant to what we're talking about.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Well, shoot, man.
Yep.
I don't want to waste the internet too much, and I know you got things to do. And I get settled here so I can start recording some stuff around here at the conference.
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
see if I can find all the military influencers and take a selfie with every one of them and do some little interviewing here and there. If I
Do it,
can
man.
Get some interviewing done. Got the setup
yeah.
for it, so we'll see what happens. But
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. Awesome.
so
Awesome.
yeah, we'll let everybody go and let you guys get back to your day. All you lovely men and women out there serving the military, serving our country. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for watching, paying attention, giving us your ears and your attention for a little while. And thank you for supporting us. Like it means a whole lot. And as we continue to grow, it's just going to be better and better and better. And we're working on honing our skills as we go as well. So that's what we aim to do, is make it better and better and give you the best quality information we can give you, and try to make it a little bit fun and not all serious all the time. And that's kind of why we do these Sunday things too, is so we can have a little fun with it. So
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you again, John, this week, and everybody out there listening to us. Thank you for sharing with us and staying with us through this live stream. All right, we'll see you next week.
all right, see y'all later,
All
everybody.
right, out here.
All right.